Hi, and welcome to the first video of the Little Dargle Harvest YouTube channel. I am James Goddard, and Little Dargle Harvest started as a vegetable garden in Hilton during COVID. I sold vegetables from that little garden to the Rico market in Hilton for many years, and then this year I have moved away from Hilton to the Eastern Cape, to a village called Hogsback on the Amatole mountain range. And my landlady has very kindly given me half the space in her vegetable garden to carry on my passion for organic produce. So here is a compost heap which I also started since arriving in February, and I'm using the traditional European method of trench beds to build it. So it is branches cut from the hedges and trees around the edge of the property this autumn, as my landlady was thinning out some of the heavy growth, and then on top of that all the leaves from the autumn piled on top, and organic kitchen scraps, etc., to make a very rich soil eventually on which then to plant your vegetables. That is the trench bed method, and we're using that to make compost. So this is where my wormery was until last week, when the baboons arrived and feasted on 4 months worth of worms that had been developing there. And so such are the hazards of living with 4 very active troops of baboons on the mountain. We also have a very active baboon group which is educating the local community about how we should coexist with these wild creatures on the mountain. And so every vegetable garden in Hogsback has to be covered by a cage. Here is an indigenous flower garden that I have planted, mostly bulbs, but I'll talk about that in another video. This garden is surrounded by every manner of beautiful flower and fruit tree, and a really wonderful space. My landlady has kindly given me permission also to plant an orchard, and so my beautiful Tangelo tree, transplanted from Hilton, kind of a metaphor, I suppose, for my own transplant onto the mountain here, because it has taken. And then my first grapefruit tree, and those of you who know me well will have enjoyed many a bottle of grapefruit marmalade from the Hilton Little Dargle garden. So the first thing I asked my landlady when I arrived was if we could change the orientation of the vegetable garden beds. They were laid out like that bed at the top of the cage, from south to north, and in rows following the gentle contour of the cage to the bottom there. I asked if we could swap them around to almost perpendicular, like this. Why? Because you want to maximize the amount of sunshine that your beds enjoy right throughout the year. And in order to do that, it's simple. You calculate the median between where the sun rises on the 21st of December to where the sun rises on the 21st of June, the 2 solstices, all right? And then the midway line between those 2 points in the whole circle, you then divide your circumference with a diameter line, and that line is the line that on which you orientate your beds, if that all makes sense. You're speaking to a non-scientist in this video. So that median diameter line between those 2 points then gives your beds maximum exposure in both summer and winter to the sunshine, and the plants don't crowd each other out and shade each other at all because of that. And so it enables maximizing light for good growth. Here are my beds. They are organic trench beds as opposed to hard beds made out of plywood. And I've used commercial seedlings for my first plantings, bok choy and some Swiss chard and some brassicas here, cabbage and cauliflower. But underneath the green shades are my first heirloom seed vegetables that are coming up. And so in future videos, I hope to show you heirloom vegetables that are 100% organically grown from the seedlings to the harvest. This bed over here is a brand new trench bed that I've started, sticks underneath and leaves on top. And this one is an experiment with winter cover cropping. These are oat seeds that have sprouted beautifully, planted only 2.5 weeks ago, and up they have come beautifully. And the idea here is to try and reduce the acidity in this very acid soil. The soils here are acid because the whole of the hamlet is surrounded and has been surrounded for 100 years by pine forests. And so the pine needles fly everywhere as they fall off the trees and make the soils quite acid. So I will let them grow, the oats, to almost maturity, then cut and drop them onto the top, let them dry out and turn them in to the soil to try and restore the alkalinity in the soil. So, a first little look at what's happening at Little Dargle Harvest now. Those are my landlady's broad beans, which are really beautiful. So, if you like this video and if you're interested to know more progress and different things that I will be doing in future in this garden, please like and subscribe to the video. And I will see you soon. Until then, take care.